Greetings, friendos, and welcome back to another episode of my delightful little series known as Oxtoberfest. The wonderful little series in which I take a look at things from the past of a certain kooky and spooky nature. For today's video, I figured we would take another dip into the old box of yesteryear and try and see if we can't stitch together something that we can all use to entertain ourselves for a while. So let's dig in, shall we? Yes. Aha! Here we go. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to my friend, Big Frank. Out of the way, box of yesteryear. So, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, we have Big Frank, made by Playskool in 1992, when yours truly would have only been about 3 years old. Let me double check that before I continue, because I could be way off. Nope, 1992. Now, yours truly actually got one of these things back when he was little. But something happened to it which was entirely my own fault, and my own doing for that matter, so I didn't have it for very long. Regardless, let's get into this thing. So, the obvious, it's a pretty adorable, I'll say, looking Frankenstein's monster, very childlike and a very friendly little smile on his face. And he has those wonderful Halloween colors, the greens, the black, the orange, the silver, the chains. This little Playskool Frankenstein is off the chain. And also, for whatever reason, he has an outlet on his butt cheek. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they just thought it was funny. Regardless, so Big Frank here has 5 points of articulation. 1 at each leg, 1 at each shoulder, so you can make him go, "Arr, arg, arr, friends." And of course, he has 1 point of articulation at the neck, but the head does not spin a full 360 degrees, and there is a very good reason for that, which I will be demonstrating momentarily. So, you may have noticed when I showed you the back that he has a battery cover protruding from his back. That's because Big Frank here is actually an electronic toy from the 90s. Yes, he's high-tech and low-tech at the same time, just like Frankenstein's monster. So next we'll get into the play features. We'll start with his head, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but he has a hinge on the back of his skull, right there. And that's because you can open the top of his head to reveal a ghoulish toolbox. Now, Big Frank is supposed to come with 3 accessories. I unfortunately am missing the 3rd one. He comes with a wrench, which you can use on the bolts all over the figure, and you can also use the bolts on the figure to store the tools. But why you would want to do that when you can put them in his head, I don't understand. He also comes with a pair of tweezers, which don't do much, but they're included. And they're a nice, lovely highlighter yellow. But the reason... Oh, I almost forgot. And the third accessory, which I unfortunately do not own, was, if I recall correctly, a bright red Phillips head screwdriver. You know, X-head. Now, what you're supposed to do with these, the reason why they give you all these tools, is because those of you who are perceptive would have noticed that there are hinges on his chest, and they are actual hinges. They are not just molded in like the outlet on his bottom. So you can take your wrench and open up his torso, or you can do this by hand, whichever you feel like. And these doors open up, revealing his guts and his mechanical insides. Ooh, spooky. So what you're supposed to do with Big Frank is you're supposed to fix him. Because you see, Big Frank at the moment is feeling pretty well, and something I should point out, there are 3 buttons on this big fellow. There's this big switch down here, which you can pull back thusly, and then see that purple little dot right there? You poke it with this, and then Big Frank does things.
Thank you.
Let me try that again. Try and get his eyes on camera, because I forgot to mention his eyes light up when he talks and does things.
Thank you.
And then, of course, there's this little button hidden right here above that switch, which you can poke, and then he does this.
Good.
And then one of my favorites, you can actually poke his heart. Isn't that touching?
I'm alive.
You sure are, Frank. Now, with the screwdriver, I'm not sure what you were supposed to do with the screwdriver, because, as stated before, it was an X-head, and, well, he's full of bolts, and not the kind that take a screwdriver. So you would take your wrench, and you would attach it to one of these gears inside of his chest. And you would twist it, and as you twist it, you see that little picture down there by the yellow one? The picture of the green gear? As you turn this, the picture changes. So, I just broke him, quote unquote. So now, when you do that, and you push the buttons, I think mine might have a bit of a glitch, because I don't think he's supposed to say, ha 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 ha, I'm alive, when you push that when he's in the broken mode. So then, you're supposed to take this, and use it to fix him by turning the gears. And now see, he suddenly has a bone in the picture slot. I don't know why it goes from gears to bones. Maybe this is what makes him say different things when you poke his heart.
I'm alive.
Apparently not. But what about when we poke his buttons?
Good.
I see why now, because that's not a broken bone. But with a simple twist of this wrench, we can break his bones, ladies and gentlemen. We can break him. We have the technology. And just like that, Frankie's got a broken bone. What do you have to say now, Frankie? And his heart continues to beat. And
I'm alive.
you sure are, Frankie. You sure are. So there's unfortunately not much to this toy beyond that. I mean, you could have him terrorize your Care Bears, but that's about it. He is a fantastic looking toy for his era. But then again, this was also the era in which they had toys like Dr. Dreadful and all those kinds of fancy horror Halloween-themed toys that were becoming popular. Let's see, what else can we do? I know. Let's sing a song, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'm going to fix him real quick. I'm gonna fix that bone that I just broke.
Good.
Then we're going to seal him up. Boop, boop, like so. And we put... Oh, and it does actually lock in place, see? And then you turn it this way and it opens up. But anyway, so now we shall put the tools back and I shall regale you with a lovely little song that goes a little something like this. The monster of Frankenstein's creation was covered in rotten skin, and they say to look upon him would fill the viewer with chagrin. All of the villagers hated him because of his haircut. Then his life was a living hell since Igor threw the switch. When all he sought was companionship, the villagers said, let's get that ugly son of a beep. Oh, how the villagers shunned him as they chased him out of town. He hid inside of an old windmill, which they promptly burned it down with him inside of it. And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have the entirety of the story of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in a nutshell. Although there's also a bit in the story later on where the monster didn't actually die, and then he chases Victor Frankenstein all across the world, all over continents, until he tracks him down in the middle of the Antarctic Ocean, and it gets kind of weird. But then again, a story about a man who decides to reanimate rotten flesh and bring back the dead just because is also kind of a weird thing. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you all so much for coming back and enjoying another one of my videos. And I have a joke for you. What do you call an undead cow? Give up? Zombie